Hey, Dakota.
Yeah?
What you thinking about?
Oh, I don't know, fish stuff, I guess.
Oh. Can I talk to you about the best superhero film I've seen?
Sure.
It's got so much going for it. It's about this big, funny, muscular guy.
Yeah?
He's part of this elite superhero team.
Uh-huh.
He's the son of royalty, which means there's tons of family beef, especially with one sibling in particular.
Oh, flip yeah.
He's useless without his trusty weapon.
Oh, no.
And he's got the most sexy partner in crime.
Oh, I heard ya.
And who can forget about the epic gladiatorial battle?
I never will.
Oh my god, I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Me too.
Let's celebrate by saying the title of the film together. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Thor
Aquaman.
Ragnarok! Hi, welcome to Movie Versus. I'm Emily.
And I'm Dakota.
And today we'll be taking a look at the latest addition to the DCEU, Aquaman.
Aquaman tells the story of sexy fish boy Jason Momoa,
Permission to come aboard.
Arthur Curry, a half-human, half-Atlantean super being who is also the rightful heir to Atlantis. When his brother King Orm threatens to conquer the rest of the sea and then destroy the surface world, Aquaman must face his destiny to become the protector of the deep and save both land and sea.
Surf and turf. So Dakota, first thoughts.
I went in wanting a dumb, fun movie, but the movie was too dumb and poorly written for me to even have fun.
I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I don't think it broke new grounds for the superhero genre. I mean, I keep holding on to hope that DC will get its shit together, but Aquaman just felt like the latest installment to a mediocre universe. The story of Aquaman isn't actually too bad. It just feels very predictable, and the great moments that it has feel directly ripped from Thor Ragnarok.
At face value, the stories are the same. A rightful heir has to save the world from the destructive actions of a maniacal sibling. Both films try to do so in a self-aware and humorous way, but Ragnarok does it so much better. Let's dive into why. Let's just jump right in.
Probably the strongest element of Thor Ragnarok is the development of Thor's character. The central question of the movie is, who is Thor?
Who are you?
What were you the god of again?
Are you Thor, the god of hammers?
And more specifically, who is Thor without his hammer, without Asgard? This question is particularly enticing because it's not only what's asked of Thor, but is also the question Taika Waititi has to ask himself regarding the Thor franchise.
Aquaman explores almost the exact opposite theme. He is nothing without his trident, and in fact, he needs the legendary trident of Atlan to win the battle. Like, he needs a better trident to win.
By retrieving this.
I already got one of those.
Not like this one, you don't.
Thor downgrades from hammer to no hammer, and Aquaman has to upgrade from five-pointed thing to trident.
That's a downgrade. There's fewer points. And there's little to no decision making along the way. Every obstacle is overcome by specific guidance or some good old-fashioned punching.
Pew pew!
We're never asked who Arthur is. In fact, we're told many times that he's supposed to be the bridge between the land and the sea.
We could unite our worlds one day.
He never decides that for himself at all. And there's actually a title already established for him if he does get Atlan's trident. It's Ocean Master. The only real decision Arthur makes throughout the entire movie is to save Atlantis and take his rightful place as king. But he's not really given a choice when other characters are dictating all of his moves.
They made me what I am.
And throughout the rest of the movie, there's little to no development. It just feels like a quest with a series of steps.
Yeah, I don't know how much Arthur has really changed from start to end.
All of Arthur's decisions are just made by supporting characters.
Speaking of supporting characters, the ones in Aquaman have absolutely no substance to them, especially compared to their counterparts in Thor Ragnarok.
You got the mentor figure, Willem Dafoe, who teaches Aquaman one move, which happens to be the one move Orm can't counter.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Where in Ragnarok, Thor's mentor, his father, Odin, helps him understand his own power and the importance of his people.
Asgard is not a place. Never was. Asgard is where our people stand. Even now, right now, those people need your help.
You've got the hot sidekick, Thick. Mira is Arthur's trusty sidekick and acts to guide him through his quest, but she seems way more competent than him. Half the time she isn't doing anything though, except maybe giving him kisses.
Smooching. She also looks like Ariel.
And that was a choice because she was blonde in Justice League. Valkyrie, on the other hand, actually starts as an antagonist in Ragnarok. The reasons for her opposing Thor are actually very clear given her emotional backstory. And Thor needs to break through this opposition to convince her to be part of the team.
That I want to be on the team. Has it got a name?
Yeah, it's called the Revenges.
This conflict makes them much more active characters.
You can't forget about the evil sibling. Arthur's brother, King Orm, has this like surface level noble argument that the land dwellers are polluting the oceans and they should be stopped from doing that. But at the end of the day, he's really just a cliched power-hungry king who just won't stop until he is Ocean Master. Hela, while also power-seeking, has strong motivation for her rampage. She and Odin used to conquer realms together until Odin decided he wanted to be a good guy and basically imprisoned her. She has pretty much every right to be upset with her family and kind of to be jealous of Thor. So while her methods are evil, you kind of get a sense of why. She was brought up to be evil. Her title is literally Goddess of Death, right? Like, she can make swords with her hands. If you can do that, are you not supposed to kill people?
And finally, you have the second-class villains. In Aquaman, there's Black Manta, who's picked by Orm for some reason to hunt down Aquaman. Then throughout the rest of the movie, Black Manta is just seeking revenge for the death of his father. And honestly, if you got rid of his plot, the movie would pretty much convey the same thing, but be a lot shorter. The Grand Master in Ragnarok, in contrast, is very charming, funny, and sadistic. He's so comfy in his power that he's just trying to be entertained the whole time. And the time he spends antagonizing Thor actually works to really develop Thor's character.
I think the reason that a lot of the characters in Aquaman feel one-dimensional is that the writers are too afraid to show any of them as vulnerable. A lot of the humor in Thor Ragnarok comes from the fact that the characters are put in these awkward, uncomfortable situations. Whereas in Aquaman, all of the important characters are only ever seen as strong and powerful, but strong and powerful just isn't funny.
Thor is also so comedically successful because it plays with your expectations.
The damage is not too bad. As long as the foundations are still strong, we can rebuild this place. Now those foundations are gone, sorry.
Korg is hilarious because he's this big rock creature who manages to start a whole revolution, but his voice and his personality are very meek.
My name is Korg. I'm kind of like the leader in here. I'm made of rocks, as you can see, but don't let that intimidate you. You don't need to be afraid unless you're made of scissors.
Also, the Grand Master is flamboyant and cheerful in the way he talks and moves, but he's so nonchalant when it comes to all the atrocities he commits.
And the slaves have armed themselves.
Oh, I don't like that word. Yes word, yes word.
Sorry, the prisoners with jobs have armed themselves.
Okay, that's better, that's better.
It makes him that much sicker. Aquaman's most successful jokes are literally potty humor.
I could have just peed on it.
In Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi trusted his actors to improvise like 80% of their lines, and it really paid off because half the dialogue in that movie is just very, very funny.
And very, very unexpected.
There was one time when we were children, he transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, yeah, it's me! And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
And it feels very natural, like it's actually coming from those characters. Whereas all the jokes in Aquaman felt written.
It felt like they needed to fulfill a joke quota every 20 minutes.
Yep, oh, this movie hasn't been funny for a bit. What do we say?
Could have just peed on it.
That's really the bulk of what we didn't like about Aquaman, but there were also a lot of little things that were just infuriating. The performances, particularly in the flashback scenes, were just not good. The effects were laughably bad. It makes no sense for such a big budget film why they would choose to use CGI over a real world location for something as simple as a lighthouse. Was this a George Lucas special edition of Aquaman?
The score of Aquaman also tried so desperately to emulate Thor's 80s synthesizers and rock music. Except every note felt like it was being improvised on the spot. The score didn't go anywhere. On a scale of noise to score, it definitely felt more like noise to me.
And there were a lot of things that just didn't make any logical sense. Like Willem Dafoe's safe house, Apparently it's safe from the Atlanteans because only the Highborns can breathe air, but they had these reverse scuba suits so they could breathe air. Also, why could only the Highborns breathe air? Were they like literally genetically superior to every other Atlantean? And then at the beginning, Aquaman doesn't have a trident, he has a 5-pointed spear. That's not a trident.
Also, Jason Momoa never once said, "my man." Okay? That just makes no sense.
My man.
Alright, Dakota, I feel like we should end with some positive things, right?
Yeah.
I thought some of the visuals were really cool. Like that scene when Aquaman is being chased by the trench creatures. That wide.
Good wide. I definitely laughed a few times, but sometimes at the movie rather than with it. And the last scene was pretty touching on a 100% CGI set because they didn't have the budget for a real set but had the budget for a 30-hour render.
I thought the scenes with the parents were endearing and a good way to bookend the film. I also personally appreciated how the fight sequences were shot. The camera kind of swoops around so you can see all the action that's taking place. Whereas in some action films, they just cut away, just cut after cut after cut, and I can't follow the sequence.
I don't think the fights themselves, though, were very well done because they never felt like they had any real stakes. I was never worried about any of the heroes.
Everyone in Aquaman felt like they were impervious to damage. I was shocked after the Kool-Aid Man sequence.
Oh yeah!
That Amber Heard actually had scratches on her face.
How many points on your trident would you give it?
I think it would still be a trident.
Ooh.
Aquaman is an aqua lad that was really aqua bad.
I am gonna make mine the thing, not a trident, that he has at the beginning. So 5 points. Imagine a 10-pointed spear. That's just a rake. Someone at DC saw Thor Ragnarok and was like, wow, they made a really successful movie that didn't take itself seriously and was really fun. We can do that. But instead of being creative and original, they just tried to copy what made Thor Ragnarok successful, and they just took the worst possible things to copy and didn't copy them well.
They were clearly too scared to diverge from any kind of cliche or stereotypical superhero plot.
I think that's what's so successful about Thor Ragnarok as a movie. A lot of weird, unexpected things happen. You can't go into that movie and predict all of the plot points that are going to happen. It's just so fun and so surprising. Aquaman was not surprising at all, and I was really hoping it was going to be.
Humble telemedia viewer, please stay tuned. We have a lot of good holiday content coming out.
Yeah, we won't be doing a movie versus episode for a little while, but we have a lot of other types of videos that we're going to be putting out over the next few weeks, so stay tuned for those, and we hope you enjoy them. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, remember to hit that notification bell, and stay tuned.
And stay alive.